Climate change is a development challenge for many countries, including Sri Lanka. Variability in rainfall patterns, increasing temperatures, extreme weather conditions, and rising sea levels are negative impacts of climate change that can be seen around the country. The Institute of Policy Studies, under its research program on environmental economic policy, continues to pay special attention to policy-oriented research on climate change. We understand that such research is a vital component in addressing challenges that come with climate change. The first ever study conducted by the IPS, together with the UNESCO Participation Program, highlighted that climate adaptation should be the key strategy for Sri Lanka. Thus, the emphasis for mainstreaming climate change for sustainable development agenda was well laid through the study. Since then, the IPS Climate Change Research Program has evolved to cover several important areas, namely agriculture, water management, urban development, climate information, natural disasters, climate insurance, and so on. Our goal is to propose evidence-based policies backed by our comprehensive research-based inputs and expertise. In a milestone moment, IPS was instrumental in preparing the National Adaptation Action Plan for Climate Change Impacts in Sri Lanka 2016 to 2025, or the NAP. The NAP presents a 5-gap model that explains the need for policy intervention. The gaps mentioned in the model include information gaps, technological gaps, policy and governance gaps, institutional and coordination gaps, and resource mobilization gaps. Our climate change research is based on a comprehensive review of existing information, extensive field research, and meaningful consultations of stakeholders. The ongoing action research study sheds light on the provision of climate information for farmers. We created a research partnership consortium with the Department of Meteorology, the Adaptation, and the South Asian Network for Development and Environmental Economics to undertake this collaborative study. It is an ideal illustration of our approach to research and highlights the way IPS is making positive changes at the community. Given the variabilities in climate patterns, climate information is a key requirement for effective decision-making in agriculture. We conducted a baseline survey of 900 farmers in 6 districts to understand the real situation in terms of climate information. The baseline survey data reveals that Kanna meetings and local observations are the main sources of climate and weather information for farmers. We gathered initial key insights based on experience of other countries representing different parts of the world through an international consultation workshop held in Colombo. Extensive participatory rural assessments and the baseline survey helped to understand real issues and areas that needed intervention. The project is geared to provide improved climate forecasts and thereby make sure that farmers use such information for effective decision making. The project assisted the Department of Meteorology by providing IT resources and sponsoring training for officers to facilitate developing high-resolution climate information products. The project is now implemented in 6 districts with selected farming communities on pilot basis, covering all the agroecological zones in the country. Through this project, the Department of Meteorology provides localized climate forecasts to farmers. Farmers are also engaged in this process. Trainings were given to the farmers at the regional offices of the Department of Meteorology. Now farmers are actively engaged in measuring rainfall based on the guidelines using rain gauges provided to them. It was interesting to see how farmers attempted to comprehend and incorporate scientific inputs into their own knowledge on rainfall and agriculture-related decision-making. The project also intended to bridge the relationship between the Department of Meteorology as the climate information provider and the farmers as the climate information users. Farmers representing each district visited the department to share their experience and discuss the next steps together with all stakeholders in February this year. It provided a good platform to see how the Department of Meteorology comes up with scientific forecasts. Farmers also expressed how useful such information was and how it can be improved. We hear success stories from the field to say how better climate information has helped farmers. This initiative is not going to end when the project is completed. We have already initiated efforts to look for future avenues on how this can be scaled up and continued so it makes a change in farmers' lives. By and large, climate change research at IPS contributes significantly to informed policymaking and to make the lives of communities better.